You know what I meant to say on our last podcast? It is Libra season, baby. It is here. We are in October. My birthday's October. Rhodesia's birthday is today. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, happy birthday, beautiful.
Thank you.
E, we already celebrated your birthday, man, so we can't celebrate you again. But next year we got you again on the podcast. And actually, didn't you have to do the pod on your birthday? Wasn't that what you was complaining about back in the summertime? That you had to come on here and do the pod on your birthday? I think so.
One of my many nicknames is Mr. No Days Off.
One of your many nicknames. We not going down that path right now.
No,
Let me just intro the pod. Let's get off this right now. Welcome to the TFW podcast. That's Freakin Rust, and you guys know what it is. I'm your host, Matt, joined by my two co-hosts, Lock and Loaded. Eshaun, right there. Rhodesia, right there. It happened, guys. It happened this past Sunday. We had our podcast months ago. Edge had his match with Sheamus, and I got on here, and I think we all may have said we thought he was going to AEW, if I'm not mistaken. I know I was pretty matter of fact about it when I saw it. I was like, either he's retiring or he's going to AEW. He is not coming back to WWE. And we got it. And what I really want to, I haven't talked to either one of you about it at all. So I wanted to get your reactions on the actual podcast. We knew it was coming, especially when they announced Darby and Christian 2 out of 3 falls as main event in the show. I personally think they maximized it perfectly, even though we knew it was coming. I thought it was done. I don't think it could have been done any better. Probably. Would love to hear your guys' reactions about it. But give it to me. We now have Adam Copeland, the rated R era of AEW. So there you go. You kept asking, Tony Khan kept talking about what era are we in, this new era thing. Now we know it's the rated R era. Adam Copeland. That's going to be really hard to just not say Edge. Like I wish he would have just changed his name to like one, what is it, syllable? Syllable, right? Not synonym, syllable. One syllable, but he didn't. So now we got to go Adam Copeland. Tell me about Adam Copeland in AEW, folks.
You know, I wasn't super high on him going to AEW. But after watching him debut, I have went the other way. I thought it was a great debut for
Yes, sir.
Mr. Copeland. I love the energy he brought. You know, I kind of wanted him to stay away from Christian. Because back in the WWE, you know, for some reason, Edge somehow always overshadowed Christian and what he was doing. But I think things are different now because Christian's on such a roll right now. He is such a villain. I think that this is one of the first times that I think they're on equal playing fields. Like you got a super villain with a new ultra face, new debut. I think it's great for AEW, y'all. I'm really excited for him.
You know what, Rhodesia, before you give your Adam Copeland thoughts, let's stay on Christian for a minute because you are right. We got to give Christian his flowers. We typically do on the pod. But to see where this man is now from when he signed to AEW, I remember that day that it was announced he signed, and it was kind of a letdown. Because at this point, we were used to like these major, massive surprises.
Oh, you was down on that.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, man, like, is Christian really like that guy? Yeah, he can. We know he can go in the ring. That's gonna be great. We know he can help the young talent. Okay, cool. But I was like, I mean, cool, right? Like, okay, the work he's done in the last year. You look at that match with Darby Allin, and we gotta shout out Darby. He's a fucking monster. Like that guy. Hopefully, he's not injured. It was funny watching him on the scrum come in with his arm in a sling, and Tony's like, don't fucking scare me. Like, are you okay? He was like, I don't know. We'll get tests done after this and find out. But to see where he's at right now, to your point, like, man, I would have never thought Christian would be at the top of the wrestling world in 2023, just from where he was like years ago. But here we are. And he absolutely deserved that main event spot. Him and Darby killed it. So I was the same way too. I'm like, look, if they're going to bring Edge in. I don't want him going right with Christian or against Christian. Like, now where he's like positioned, I'm like, all right, give it to me. Cool. Sounds great. I like it. I love it. Let's get right to it. Rhodesia,
Yeah, because I remember right before we go to Rhodesia, I do remember you were kind of down on the Christian coming in, but I also think that I didn't see this version of Christian on display. I didn't see that ahead of time, but I also don't think that you saw the heel that Christian was in TNA. So I think this is like this version, this heel version of Christian is really taking you by surprise, which is great. So again, I think we're going to end for some great storytelling with these guys.
So then where would you compare? This has to be better than his Impact heel run in work, or not run, but his work, his heel work. This is better than Impact, right?
You know, I thought about it earlier. And so this is how long of a day, because I've been having conversations with you guys all day in my head. And then when I actually sit down and see you guys, I forget every conversation we already had. I guess because we already had them right in my head.
Had them already right? in your universe. It's happened already. We moved on.
It already happened, right? But we're going on with Christian. I know we talked about on the pod like a couple times, like who's the best heel in the business, MJF or Dominic. It's neither one of those guys. It's Christian. And to answer your question, like, yes, this is a real villainous role. Like, there's no redeeming qualities about Christian.
No.
Like, he is a horrible human being, right? Like, he is a horrible, horrible human being. You know, back the peak heel run, Christian, he was still kind of entertaining. This guy ain't really entertaining. He is, but he's dastardly. So to answer your question, yes, this is the best heel version of Christian.
I was going to ask you, Rhodesia, so you were never, actually, you really haven't liked Edge's run in WWE.
Uh-oh.
So now, removing yourself from that, and just take what we saw Sunday night at WrestleDream. So just take that in a capsule, and then we'll see tonight on Dynamite what that looks like, and going forward, somebody who was like, I could take or leave Edge. I don't really care much about Edge and Christian, that backstory. What was from that perspective, what was your thoughts on how he debuted?
Well, one, it was completely electric as soon as he came out. Well, for starters, once the main event switched and when Darby and Christian main evented, we kind of already knew that this is probably where Edge is going to return, which you mentioned about Adam. I'm sorry. Can't keep saying Edge. Adam. There's three Adams now in AEW. Adam Page, Adam Cole, Adam Copeland. We should just go with Cliff Copeland. Wasn't that the name we were going to give him? With Cliff.
Oh, yeah, Cliff. We should just start calling him Cliff.
Let's go call him
He's Cliff on the TFW pod.
Yeah. So I lost my train of thought there. But with Cliff, there's something about that song. So, of course, I know the song. I even love the song, hearing it, to the point where at times he'll come out in WWE. Matthew will be like, you can't sing a song if you don't like him. So it's still something about that's electric about him, his aura, his music. So when that hit, even though we knew it was coming and the lights went dark, it still was a moment as a wrestling fan, like, oh my God, these are the things that we care about. These are the moments that we dream about. So just taking Adam Copeland for what it is, and to know that you could feel the energy between him and Christian, because again, you talk about Christian work and how great he is as this heel and just as a character, just like how shocked he was as when Adam Copeland came back. And to me, I'm like, when you see that, at first I felt the same way. If you do bring him back, don't team him up with Christian. But right. I kind of like this. I kind of like either if they're together or if they're not together. I think this is something that's really, really beautiful. And I think that both of them respect the business enough to not to bury any other talent or not to just get all of the limelight themselves. I think this is actually a really good thing for AEW. Oh, I said it. Cliff.
I have so many different thoughts too. So let's start with the music, which is awesome. Beth Phoenix's voice is at the beginning. That part was the part that was trademarked, not the actual song. I had no idea he would get the same song. So that added to it also, to see the exact same presentation that we've been used to for 20 plus years in AEW, that it would have had to completely gone haywire after that for it to be like, damn, that didn't land. But when he came out to that music, same pyro, the same smoke, I was like, okay, we're here. This is it. And then to watch him in the scrum, and this goes back to the fan base of AEW. I told Rhodesia this past weekend, we were watching, I think we may have been watching Collision. I can't remember. And I said that, in my opinion, I wonder how many casual AEW fans there are. And what I mean by casual is they know it's a work. They know it's entertainment, but they don't know the inner workings the way we know the inner workings. And I would have to just assume, I would love to see a number. I'm thinking maybe less than 10%.
I would
Is
agree.
that I think 90+% of AEW fans know what it's all about. They know, of course, we know they know all the indie guys because they come on without any TV time and get huge pops in every building they hit. So they're a much more smarter crowd. And listening to Adam talk on the scrum and just seeing his excitement and hearing him talk about, man, I'm here to like help the younger guys. Like there's so many people that I didn't get a chance to work with. Like I look at like the menu of wrestlers here and I'm just like, how can I turn this down? To hear stuff like that, you're just like, man, that's like really awesome, because that is what we wanted out of Punk, and we got it from Punk for like a year plus.
Yeah.
But I think he definitely takes Punk's role. And I also think, and this is going to sound a little crazy, so maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. No, his debut was not better than Punk's debut. But I wonder if long-term Edge is better than Punk was long-term for AEW.
And that's a really good question to ask, or analysis to look back at, just because even when CM Punk came back to wrestling, he still ended his career on a sour note with WWE. That right there alone is the difference. So you have someone like Adam Cliff who's coming over. He had a beautiful send-off from WWE. That relationship is perfectly fine. No bridges burned there. He's not coming with this chip on his shoulder, where
Right.
Punk did come with a chip on his shoulder. So in totality, and we'll see, I mean, barring any injuries or anything catastrophic happening in the world, we might look back and say that Edge, Adam return did better for AEW than Punk long term.
We gonna call him, what's his name?
What's his
We
name?
get
I'm
it
fine.
right.
Let's
It
do
just
that.
is
Let's
what
do
it
that.
is.
What's his name?
What's his face? But you know, the Scrum guys is actually what 100% sold me on Edge coming to AEW.
Yep.
Because like I am anti Prince of the Moment, so I thought it was a great moment, but I still wasn't sold on him being in AEW. But listen to the Scrum and listen to his positivity, his energy, and you know I'm always drawn towards that. And then the key thing that really got me was when Tony Khan said he's a full-time employee. He's a full-time worker.
Yep.
He's going
Man.
to be on weekly TV. Like, that's what got me, because, like, that's what we need. Because what I wasn't interested in was a part-time, you know, wrestler coming into the company.
Yep.
We get a couple of good moments, and he's off the TV. We see him every couple months, maybe on a pay-per-view, etc. But to see him week to week, now I know that he has, like, no stake in this. And I'm hoping that he can provide some leadership backstage and make a couple of different changes. So, you know, case in point, to what you guys were saying, is he a better fit? I think maybe from a personality standpoint, possibly. Because you don't hear about Edge rocking the boat. He seems like a kind of guy that always gets along with everybody, kind of goes with the flow of things. Whereas, you know, Punk has a confrontational
demeanor,
nature about himself, right?
Yeah.
Now he went into the company with the best of intentions, right? He wanted to make a change. But sometimes certain people, their message, the message is sometimes it's more, I should say, the delivery is more important than the message, right? And I think his delivery on his message might have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, where I think that Edge or Adam is going to be a little bit different. He might be more like Christian. Yeah, he might actually be more like Christian. Right? You think about Christian, and that's the nice thing about Christian is that he has a name that just transitions right quickly from whatever.
He's not with his name.
We've always been calling him that.
We
can remember Adam Copeland. It's a matter of trying not to say Edge.
And not to say Edge. We've been calling him Edge for like 30 years, right? So, but you know, you think about Christian. Christian's a wealth of knowledge. They say he's one of the best finish guys or set up guys in the business. Like they said that he just really knows how to set up matches, and his attention to detail is absolute. And I believe that Edge has a lot of that too. But what you never hear is about Christian rubbing anybody the wrong way. What you kind of hear from Christian is like, hey, look, I'm here. If you got a question or you need me, but otherwise, do your thing, right? But now you can tell in his matches, you can see in that match with Darby that there was a lot of Christian sprinkled in that match. Like a lot of the things made absolute sense. That bump on the chairs. I mean, I guess he tried to work with him on that one. But that was a big one.
I wonder, did Christian not want to go along with that bump? And then Darby was like, no, let's do it. Because if you remember, first bump was just a slam onto the outside, right in front of the steps. And then they did it again. And he didn't slip. And I really wonder if Christian's like, dude, you're out of your fucking mind. We can't do this. And Darby's
like, no, run it back.
Yeah,
because it was so weird. It was like right in front of the steps. Like, that did you like fall?
hey, you talk about somebody who's smart. Because I do this too. Sometimes when there's something I don't want to do, but I have to do, I do it wrong. Just to say I try. Oops.
You won't ask me to do it again either if I do it wrong.
Right? But Darby's like, hey, Jay, it's okay. Try again. And the Christian's like, damn it.
But but to your point about just his excitement level, to hear him talk about them shooting the video package Friday night downtown Seattle, and how just like he was like a little kid. And
Exactly.
this goes to what we talked about a couple pods ago when I said, take Jade. Y'all know I got to ask you who won the trade. Super early, who won the trade question, but I got to ask you that. But when we talked about Jade, Jade said, hey, I need to go to the grand stage. That was always the North Star. That was always what it was all about. And then we talked about what that looks like for WWE. And I said, you go to WWE to be the biggest star possible. You go to AEW to get that creativeness out of you, that the reason why you got in this business in the first place, I can scratch that itch. I think what we're going to see now that Punk is gone, and Punk was not, all the backstage issues was not on Punk. I think it was a catalyst to a lot of them.
Of course not. Yeah.
Recently, but no, every locker room has some issues. But what I will say is, if you look at your older guys that can still go, I think AEW can be that perfect destination for when, you know what? I'm tired of coloring inside the lines. I'm tired of showing up at call time at noon for TV, and I'm told exactly what to say. I'm told exactly what I'm going to do, and I don't really have a say. Now, when I get to the Edge level, when I get to the Roman Reigns level, yeah, now I can play around and tweak some words in my promo. But at the end of the day, the story is the story, and I just need to do what the story is. And we know that's not the case in AEW. In AEW, it is, hey, your program is going to be with Luchasaurus. Go have fun putting your matches and your promos together. That's got to be exhilarating for somebody that knows how to do this thing.
Exactly.
The way they know how to
for
do
somebody
it.
else. But yeah, but someone like a veteran like Adam Copeland, absolutely. You don't have to worry about being polished all the time.
Correct.
Yeah, because I think you're spot on, Matt, with that. I think you're going to see a lot of veterans. And, I think that Edge, Christian, the Dolph Ziggler types that's been in the machine for years, right? In a lot of ways, you think about Edge, and we talked about, like, Edge has done almost everything you can do in the WWE. Like, right? And I didn't read it, but I read somewhere that, he had creative differences on how he should be used in the future. Now, he can go to AEW as an open canvas for him. He can kind of reinvent himself. He can kind of do different things. To whereas somebody new like a Jade, like this is uncharted territory for her.
Right.
To go into this machine and kind of learn and go through the process. I think you're going to see a lot of, like, as you said, a lot of the veterans who are kind of over the machine looking for a different outlet. And then I think you're going to see a lot of newer people who are like, hey, this is brand new. I need to get into I need to see what it's about. I need to feel it. I need to get there. I think you're going to see a lot of that going forward.
Because to that point, they've been there, done that. There's nothing more for Edge to do.
Nothing.
But I also think that's the reason why he's in AEW. So think about it. If he's willing to go weekly, he's full time. This man didn't even have a Survivor Series match. I mean, not Survivor Series, SummerSlam match. They just didn't have anything for him, I think. So where maybe we thought, oh, no, he wants to be part-time. He signed a deal with AEW. He's like, no, you'll see me every week.
Hey, didn't he say he wanted to be full-time? And WWE said no or something like that?
Yeah, I just think they didn't have anything for him. I mean, because if you look at it, where they're headed, what more was it for Edge to do? He wasn't going to get a title run. He wasn't. Okay, you could have brought him back as soon as you found out Cena was coming back. It's too late now, but hindsight, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if you knew you were getting Cena for, a 3-month run, summer/fall, okay, maybe we run Edge and Cena back one more time. Other than that,
it would have turned into
every single.
It would have turned into a legacy acts like Mark Henry and Big Show if he would have stayed.
He's done everything from that perspective. So we had our pod last week, and we talked about 30 plus minutes about Jade going to WWE, how big of a move it was, how big of a moment it was. They put the full court press on. Less than a week later, we got Adam Copeland in AEW. So it is now actually a week from when they announced Jade, because they announced Jade last Tuesday that she officially signed. 7 days in, who won the trade, guys? Did Jade going to WWE win the trade, or Edge to AEW? Adam Copeland win the trade.
This is a tough one. Immediate win may have to go to AEW, just because for reasons that even Eshaun mentioned. Adam Copeland is going to be able to be a leader in that locker room. He's going to be able to be a leader on the TV, in ring. That knowledge is something that's taken decades to earn and to learn. So I think immediate win is going to be Adam Copeland. But let's just be honest. You have Jade. You have your entire future. If she can amount to just half of what we want her to be, she's going to be greatness. And put her in that WWE machine. They have that luxury of time to build her to that. So when you look at it that way, it has to be WWE to win automatically, because you're looking at it in totality.
So I'm going to be nice guy. I'm going to give you two takes. Nice take. They both win. Because
give me a bad take then.
Yeah, because
we know they both win.
AEW gets the Edge is kind of replacing CM Punk in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a big star. They gained a big star, right? Potentially, they can get another locker room leader. They definitely get somebody with the wealth of experience. He's going to do great. Hopefully, some of these wrestling fans can get their head out of their boo-boos and understand that this is great for business for both sides. And they kind of can check out what AEW is doing. Maybe he can bring over some views and some fans over to the AEW, and they can continue to grow. I think it's phenomenal. On the WWE side, they get a brand new star. Right, if you look at the division, especially in the women's division, then you got Rhea on Raw, and then there's everybody else. I love Charlotte, but man, she's a young woman, but she's becoming like Edge. She's done everything on that show.
She's another one, and we'll get into.
We can have a whole conversation.
I was about to say Payback. See, I'm having the hardest time, guys, remembering Fastlane. We'll get to the Fastlane preview after this conversation.
Hopefully that's not an omen to the actual pay-per-view or PLE.
No, I don't think so. But they are throwing, like, it's like she shows up, and if she's not in the title match, which is like, okay, well, she didn't really do anything to earn a title match this go around, but okay. But if she's not in the title match, it feels like it's a waste of her time. To your point of, like, she's also getting to that, this is sketchy situation for Charlotte, because that can get to a point where that runs thin too with the fans. Like, every time we see you, you're involved in a title picture.
Yeah, but on the SmackDown women's side, like it just, to me, I think the women's division is a little stale outside of Rhea. I think Rhea is a huge star. And I think Jay's going to definitely add to that. But I'm gonna give you the other take. I'm gonna give you a real take. If I gotta pick a winner.
Here we go.
WWE won this trade.
7 days in, you feel that way.
WWE,
even though Jay hasn't been on TV yet,
because we got a brand new star, and if Jay is what we think she is, she's going to be big dividends for that company in that division. And they got her. She's a young woman. She's 30, 31, right? She's not even in her prime yet. And look, it is what it is, y'all. Don't get mad at me, but black don't crack. That woman's only going to get prettier as he gets older. So there's that. They have a
He
new.
said, "Don't get mad at me."
Hey, it is what it is.
That's a
Black don't
fact,
crack.
right? That's a fact.
They have potentially a superstar for the next 10 years, whereas they got Edge. He's 50. Right? He got a lot of mileage in that body. He just came back from a career-ending injury.
And ain't Sting 66, where Seth tried to paralyze him? He's still out there moving and shaking.
Oh,
Yeah,
And actually, that
you
too.
that up?
Another one. I think, didn't he say that was the first time him and Sting had been in the ring
in
together?
a ring together. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man.
But
talking-
this is. But
that's a
here's
lot
the
of
point to that
bucket
though. Like, Sting ain't moving merch or ticket sales anymore, and Edge has a short window to do the same thing for them. I hope that they really can capitalize on Edge and the momentum and his star power, so they can bring some more eyes on their product. But I'm unsure of the track history of them capitalizing on these new stars is very low. So you think about the Machine. They've already got so many eyes on this woman. She's coming in there. I don't know I want to say a bullseye is on her, but she's coming in with a lot of
pressure.
I did think that watching that promo on Raw Monday, and I thought I heard some boos when they showed it, which I was like, okay, whoa. But I thought that I was like, all right, when does this become too much? If now word is she's scheduled to be at Fastlane, but we don't know what capacity. She may. Damn, I did it again. No, Fastlane.
Oh, you said it right. You said it right.
Yeah. We don't know if that's on camera or not. They may just have her there, do some promo shots, figure out how pay-per-view day looks. We'll see what that looks like on Saturday. But if they keep her off TV for a while and they keep running these promo packages, I can see, to your point, like the crowd being like, all right, like you better blow our socks off. Mm-hmm. Which I think she will. I do think she will.
And
for me,
that's why I said that let her get her reps in NXT, because there's going to be a lot of eyes on her. She needs to be up there to be able to perform. And that last match she had with Chris, it was all right, but it wasn't what we saw from Becky and Tiffy the other day.
No, not at all. And word is she's going to be on Raw. Anywhere where the veterans are, I'm completely good with it. Because don't forget, we got Kairi Sane coming back. And I'm sure she's getting thrusted right in that Io Sky Asuka situation. That's going to be incredible. My answer for me right now, because I said it was 7 days, it's Edge to AEW. And it's because of what he can bring. I think the YouTube video is up to 3.6 million views as of right now. I don't know if that's number 1 or number 2 of all their videos for the year. I think that he is going to be able to do some things creatively that immediately we're going to be able to see and love it. Because as much as we feel at times, Tony does a lot of the start-stop pushes. Now, granted, you're talking about Edge. I mean, you could argue this is the biggest signing in AEW history. You could argue that. I think you're wrong, but you could argue that. But he hasn't missed on that top people. Now, granted, I guess he's only had Punk. Is there anybody else, would you say, at that level, like that top level that Edge is in AEW right now?
I mean, he's an EVP. It would have been Kenny Omega.
Okay. And Kenny kind of has been a little, but Kenny does his own thing. Right now, Kenny still ain't won. Kenny ain't won in months. He ain't won in months, man. And he ain't gonna win until he figures out this whole Don Callis thing.
Hey, but I hate to say it, but you can argue either way. I don't think you'd be wrong, honestly. Edge or CM Punk was their bigger signing. You could say either way. Because Edge has been a top wrestler for that company for a long time. He has a big name in wrestling, and with the what is it? What do we call the fans who don't watch? The mainstream fans.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know who they would know more, CM Punk or Edge, but I think they're like neck and neck. But you see what happened with CM Punk, the way he was handled. Now, there's a lot of personality, but what I'm saying, I'll say this. Punk debuted, and we talked about ratings last week, but Punk debuted almost 1.5 mil. Right? And then here it is a year later, we're under a mil in viewership.
But we knew Punk was coming back, though, right? Whereas we didn't know exactly when Edge was debuting. Wasn't there a push that we knew Punk was coming back?
Yeah, I mean, Dynamite's ratings going to be really, really interesting for sure this week. But I do think and then we can close it, and we can kind of get into just the best things that we saw or highlights from WrestleDream. I do think this is proven your veterans are going to be leaning toward going to AEW when their contract's up. There are a ton of contracts up in 2024. I cannot wait. We're in for what we got last week numerous times next year. But I also think the young guys and girls in AEW that really are stars, that can be stars, Ricky Starks, Wardlow. I hope for Tony's sake again, MJF is signed. He still is adamant he is not signed. He was a little bit on the interview that he had this past weekend, kind of promoting WrestleDream. He was a little bit more, I think, up to signing before January. Now, he also said afterwards he was drunk in the interview, so maybe a little bit more of that truth serum was in him. Okay. But he just said that potentially with a capital P, there could be a bidding war in January, but that he has not signed anything yet. And then I was wondering, like, is he also waiting for the news of the Max deal to happen? And maybe, like, you couple that with that, kind of like what they did with Jade. TKO's first big signing was Jade Cargill. Maybe they do something with Max too, where it's like, hey,
Max for Max.
We're on Max, and now we're on Max. Hey, man, hold on a second. I haven't used this probably since like episode 3.
That's right. We do Max that, right? On Max. That was a long drum roll, though.
Hell yeah. I'm getting better and better at this. So that could be a thing too. WrestleDream itself. What was some of your standout performances? Let's not go highlights. What were some of your standout performances from WrestleDream? Okay. Whoever wants to go first.
For me, it was Swerve. We already talked about Christian. But for me, it was Swerve. It was Swerve's house. And
whose house?
I kind of feel like when you watch that match, I feel like Swerve was put on the clinic. And I don't know if Heyman kept up with Swerve.
You sent that in the text.
Yeah, I don't know if he kept up with him.
I didn't respond because I didn't know how to respond because the match wasn't over yet. And what I mean by that is, like, we know there's wrestling's give and take, right? So if he's getting the shine, typically it's because he's supposed to be getting the shine. Now he's also in his hometown. I think that was something to do with it. So maybe Hangman gave him a lot more. Not to say that Swerve needs him to give him anything, but this entire program for both of them was about elevating each other. And honestly, to get Swerve to that next level. I don't know how you watch that match and that pay-per-view and not think to yourself, oh, Swerve's up next. Swerve's on deck. I don't know how you get there. Because it ain't against MJF because he's got Switchblade allegedly. Christian's the TNT champion. So it's not against Christian. I don't know what belt he goes after. But this is one of those, hey, let's strike while the iron's hot for me. Because he's also somebody that I had down as a standout performance. It's Swerve. He's got it. He's had it. But now I think he's showing everybody what he has. And I got to ask you now, E, you came out here and you crapped on Prince Nana from the day he started doing the Swerve dance. And now it's getting over. Crowd's getting into it. Go ahead. Everybody's getting into it. Tell me you changed your stance on my boy Prince Nana. Tell me now, when that music hit, you stood up in front of that television and you hit that thing.
Hey, you know what? If it was anybody other than Swerve, I love it. I like silly stuff like that, but not with Swerve. Here's my thing. What's going to happen to Nana? And I don't know if it's going to work in the long run, but he's about to catch your ass whooping.
Well, hell, he might catch one by Swerve. Sometimes when he comes out, hit it hard.
About.
Yeah, Swerve's
like,
dude.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
that's what I'm talking about.
Chill.
Swerve is going to whoop that man's ass. He is going to whoop because when he was coming down to the ring, he was kind of getting in front of him doing that. Like, bro, you need to step to the back, get to the side. Like he is agitating the ass whooping, y'all. It's going to come. Okay, he's popping the crowd, and if you look at Swerve in his eyes, like he is not about the bull right now. He is focused. right? And you got my man shucking and jiving.
Go ahead, boy.
Killing
Doing
it.
all
it,
this
too.
dancing, like he doing way too much. He is taking a lot of spotlight from Swerve. He is agitating ass whooping, y'all. He gonna get one real soon.
I do think. I'm really happy for Nana and Swerve, but I'm really happy for Prince Nana because when he first started doing that, I was like, it felt to me like a little bit of like a mockery, right? Like, you can't be serious. You're not serious. They've gotten it over, and I don't think the turn's happening yet, because I think that this is really getting over. They got to figure out. He's going to start getting cheers. He's got the whole Who's House Swerve House thing.
Yeah.
That's already a face thing to do. You got Prince Nana, and now you got the crowd involved too. You can't cut that off at the legs. This song is going to be, in a minute, their version of Judas in AEW.
Oh, hecky no, not to what you
Do
just
you really
said.
do you really want that though, as a heel? Because like just the heel that Swerve is being, like right, because the kind of heel Swerve is, he's very, he's almost like a Christian type of heel too. He's not trying to, make friends with the audience. He's trying to be a evil boss type character himself, right? It doesn't fit that he will want all that pomp and circumstances surrounding him.
I think as long as he doesn't play into it, I think he's fine. But you just signed Prince Nana to a multi-year deal. And I'm not saying all he is a dance. But right now, if you cut that away from him, what else do you have? And that Swerve song, so the numbers are going to start jumping up on iTunes and Spotify because that song is there. He actually had an interview too where he talked about he feels like that song is almost Prince Nana's song more than it is Swerve's song because of the dance and all that kind of stuff. I started laughing when you brought up Christian. Did y'all see on the buy-in when they were doing Antonio Inoki's family's presentation, they shot the Christian watching in the back?
I didn't see that.
God, man. I was like, I cannot believe they did that. I cannot believe they correlated Inoki's death to Christian. Like, I was like, oh my God.
Hey,
Why?
they asked Christian about it. They asked Christian about it. Well, because Inoki's son was there.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in the ring, and they
I
shot to Christian watching in the back.
But what I'm saying, because Christian always talks about people's daddy's dead and stuff like that.
He's always talking to the sons with they dead daddy. But they asked Christian about it at the scrum. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just was there.
Yeah, sitting there with his title with a little smirk on his face. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
So get this.
That's crazy.
You know how you talk about how it was a mockery first when Prince Nana was hitting the move?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, because that's an old person's move. Prince Nana is only 44 years old. I thought Prince Nana was well over 50.
You thought he said he long age?
I had a Wikipedia that one.
That's funny. So
sorry, Prince Nana.
You have Swerve as one of your bigger standouts. Rhodesia, who was one of your bigger standouts?
I don't want to say bigger standouts because I think you've already mentioned the matches that I thought was pretty big. What I did have a couple comments on was I think it was in a 0 Dark 30 hour. We had
Zero Dark 90. That thing was an hour and a half. Now, they didn't start the matches until an hour before, but I was like, come on, man. How long is this show?
What is it, 0 hour? So in the 0 hour, who I've never seen wrestle before. Wow. Josh Barnett and Claudio. I thought that was a really, really, really great match. Again, I've never seen this guy before. So for me to have no investment in him, that was really, really awesome. And then just for a hot second, I really did think Julia was going to take the TBS championship. I guess in the bigger picture, I didn't want her to win. I wanted Chris to retain it. But my emotions were there for a moment that I thought Julia was going to win. But that's all. Y'all said everything else.
It did feel a little deflating. When she lost, it was kind of like, not damn, it's over, kind of, but it was kind of like, man, what if she would have won? She had a really good showing. I said that was one of my nerd geek out matches I was most excited for. And for what it was, I thought it was good for what it was. Like, my two standouts you guys haven't talked about yet was Zack Sabre and Bryan Danielson. And probably some of what you saw, Rhodesia, with Josh Barnett and Claudio, the real of wrestling. I talk a lot about, like, when things are real, And that entire Brian and Zach match was real. And what I mean by that is they are doing legit shoot reversals and counters. And somebody who doesn't care about that, I can see them watching just saying like, this is boring. But if you know what you're looking at and you know how real things can get at times, that was a masterclass of just how to actually wrestle, hold for hold, move for move, and not, strike for strike or worked suplexes and clotheslines and things of that nature. I thought that was fantastic. I loved Barnett putting Claudio over afterwards and just saying that Inoki would be proud of you. Like, that's a conversation they have backstage that they did in front of everybody. And I thought that was something that was really awesome for us just to be privy to. But maybe the MVP of the night, maybe the person that if you tell me this is happening going forward, you would never hear me complain again about AEW and their pay-per-views or their storylines. And that is Jon Moxley on commentary.
How did I forget?
Jon Moxley on commentary.
How did I
maybe
forget
the
that?
GOAT. He may be the GOAT.
Air horns, round of applause.
Jon Moxley is all of us. The same way KO is all of us on Raw when he talks about, like, do y'all not watch the show? Do you not see what this is? That was Jon Moxley liquored up. And of course, he doesn't do liquor, but me being liquored up, watching a wrestling show or watching my friends wrestle, how I would be reacting to everything that I thought he was fantastic.
And he was there for two matches. So it was like double the time.
Back to back.
Nigel pretty much had to tell him to shut up at one point. He was like, all right, that's enough now.
Yeah, because like Moxley was like Morrow, man. He was trying to call the whole dang match by himself.
He was a one person commentating booth.
Oh my God. But I tell you one thing that I did like though with him, like Austin, it was all sincere, but he was calling moves. And I told Rhodesia, I was like, it's funny because at times we look at Moxley as a garbage wrestler and not as a wrestler that sucks, but a lot of times when you use plunder and weapons, it's called garbage. He was calling reversals and moves. I'm like, dude, no, he knows what the game is. And that just shows that anybody that does anything at a high level knows more than we would ever think they know and what we know just watching at home. Overall, though, WrestleDream, another great show. They're only going to get stronger with Adam coming in. I think Mercedes is still sooner rather than later, whenever she's healed, when she's coming in, good for them, because after Punk, even really kind of with Punk, it had a little bit of that stain still, because it's the black cloud that was still over him. We were still waiting for him to talk to the Elite. That didn't happen. And now, honestly, it feels like after All Out, after WrestleDream, now Adam Copeland being there and whatever else they have coming, we know the Max deal is about to be announced soon for streaming. It feels like they've completely turned the page of that stuff, and now they can just move forward.
Yeah, they ended that chapter.
Yep, which is very, very cool.
But overall, I think WrestleDream was what I expected to be a series of great matches. I was really entertained by it. Overall, one great wrestling show. On to the next. We hope to be a great wrestling show. And that's this Saturday. WWE presents Fastlane, Matt.
Fastlane, not
Payback Part 2. Payback Part 2.
Fastlane. Payback was it last month?
It was like recently. It was over the summer. So maybe right after.
Damn, I don't know why I'm stuck on that. Okay, got it. Fastlane.
We're in October.
Fastlane.
So maybe it was Payback was in September. Anywho, so right now I was able to only find 5 matches announced so far. So do y'all want to start with what we presume would be the top of the card, or just go for what we know? Where do y'all start?
Let's work what you think is going to be the opener. You know what? No, you're doing it. Book it.
I ain't booking it. I'm just reading what matches are announced.
No, I want you to book it.
Your input. We're doing the normal drill.
You would start the show with, and then do the main event.
No, last time I did that, I got ran through the mud on the Twitter, on the X. So thank you. I'm gonna.
I think you had 10% of the vote, and it was only you. we had more than 10 votes, but you were absolutely the only person that voted. Yeah.
I think I had one sympathy vote. Don't play me like that. So.
All right. So what you got?
You know what? Let's just start with how the WWE Network had it listed, or website has it. So what we think might be the opener, we have the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. We have the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. So when I think about this one here, after several weeks of the Judgment Day trying to recruit Jay, and Jay finally putting that line in the sand saying, nope, I'm not joining you. We're here. I think that this was kind of like a really rocky start to this storyline for me. But here we are. We have Cody Rhodes teaming up with Jey Uso. He pulled out his politician card, brought Jay over to Raw. And so now we have the two of them after Adam Pearce confirmed it on Raw just this week. I believe that was this week that he officially announced it, that it was for the championships. What are y'all thinking? Oh, we're going to do it like this. Your anticipation for the match, kind of where you at the number, like our normal thing, 1 to 10. 10 most excited. 1, I can go to sleep. And 2, who do you think is going to win?
Take it, E.
I guess I would say I am a 7 right now, because I keep forgetting there's actually even a pay-per-view coming up, to be honest with you, so I can't say I'm that excited about it. But as far as from a story perspective, I think it's going to be a good match. I'm interested to see what Jay and Cody do. I think it's going to be a lot of storytelling in this match, right? I think at some point we're going to get some kind of Jay and Cody match potentially in the future. So
Jay versus Cody?
Yeah, I think we're trying Jay and
Wow,
Cody match.
really?
Like that. Yeah,
really.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see where they go in this tag match.
So you got it at like a 7. Who you got winning?
I think Judgment Day retains. So I don't know if they, if it count out disqualification, but I think they're going to end up retaining those championships.
I think, it's funny because if there's been times where we have been harsh on AEW booking, I'm going to be harsh on the booking of this match. If it was strictly because of the match, it would be a 0. This came out of nowhere. Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Now, we all love Jay and Cody, so it's not a 0. It's probably about an 8 because I think the match is going to be awesome with Judgment Day against them too. But just from
you just happy because Sammy and KO ain't in it.
Oh my God!
Continue,
thank you, please.
Continue.
Thank you, baby Jesus. Thank you, baby Jesus. When they said that they were going to announce, I was like, if they announce another iteration of KO and Sammy, I am not watching. What is this show called? Payback? I'm not watching Payback. Give me about an 8. And I think after Monday night, it'd be cool to see Judgment Day retain due to Drew costing Cody and Jay the titles. It would make perfect sense where the story arc is going right now. And then that's like kind of the official turn of Drew, and then we go Drew and Cody, maybe at Saudi.
So this one for me, I'm going to probably say a 6. Probably just, okay, whatever. I think it has a lot of opportunity because what you just mentioned about Drew, we also have JD McCullough, and then you have the Finn Balor and Damian Priest side. And especially when Mommy came back to Raw this week, she first addressed her poppy and that he needs to retain it. So, of course, by the time people are listening to this, we would know if he not retain it, if he wins it back. We would know if Dom won it back. I just want to see how that's going to play out. So there's a lot of potential here. A 6. Who do I think is going to win? I don't see a point for Cody and Jay to win the titles. So I'll say that the Judgment Day will retain.
That pop Rhea got, holy hell on Raw. When they finally do turn her face, she's already big. She's gonna be out of here.
Next we have the LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits in the 6-man tag team match. So I had just a couple notes here after the latest beatdown of the LWO, which finally it looked believable. I still feel like Montez.
We here now.
But he still looks a little bit awkward. His anger is a little bit animated. Better. It's better, but it still looks kind of animated, a little too animated for me. This one again is a rocky start, and kind of we're here, and I'm excited because they look good. The last beatdown on SmackDown actually looked good. Yep. So what do y'all think for your excitement, 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, and who's going to win?
I got a 7. And I thought that Tez I thought he was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a nice heelish beat down. Yep. I like the mannerisms and everything. Dawkins was spot on. But Man, I don't know. Like this LWO thing, whatever they're doing, it's taking a long time to get to where it's going. Like we get some slow burn storytelling, but at the same time, we all kind of feel like Santos is gonna be the one that turns, because I don't think Ray's ever been a heel.
No,
that's one thing, right? He's never
Not
been.
that
Well, maybe when he was part of. No, I mean,
not in WWE. I don't think.
No,
I think the closest we would have gotten from a heel Ray was back in the Filthy Animals, and that was like 50 years ago, right?
Yep.
But I started thinking about when I was actually watching that show. If the LWO turns heel, you got Bobby Lashley and his crew heel, the Bloodline heel, LWO
Judgment Day.
You got think about just on SmackDown. So you got 3, heel factions on SmackDown. That's on a 2-hour show. That's kind of crowded.
Especially when I was like, do we have any face? Would there be any face factions?
We don't have any. But you typically don't, right? Because you don't see a lot of face factions. They don't, not for long term.
But even tag.
So I started
what's the name? No, your boy. How'd you forget Uncle Al?
Oh yeah, but they don't work.
Al is hurt, ain't it?
No, their group. Their faces. The OC is faces.
Yeah, they are. But it doesn't work that well. But I started thinking.
He said it don't work.
It don't work. But then I started thinking, like, maybe they don't turn. Like, maybe this is just some kind of storyline that maybe Santos breaks away from the whole thing and does his own thing. Maybe
that's what I kind of thought or think is that if it wasn't be a heel turn, it would be just Santos. And maybe it was coming on Friday. If you remember, Ray went to go shake his hand and he didn't shake his hand yet. And that's when the Prophets came in and jumped him. So you still don't know where he's feeling about Ray at this point, which I thought was great. But yeah, maybe
from a story is there, right?
Yeah. Yep. So you're going 7 and then you're going, who you got winning? There's no way that Bobby and the Prophets.
Yeah, Bobby and the Prophets have to win that. They have to. Unless
this is just a part of the story again where they don't
Bobby
take that.
gets a lashing, on them again, Yep. But then didn't he give him one last chance? Like, if you don't do this again, you're no longer part of my crew. Didn't he kind of tell him that?
Who's in the match for LWO?
I don't think they've announced it yet, have they?
Just Rey Mysterio challenged Bobby. So, it got to be the 3 of them. So it has to be everybody but Zelina.
No, it's 4 of them.
So it's 4 guys.
It doesn't show right now.
Raul and DJZ, what's his name, man?
He's always gonna be DJZ to me.
DJ, who? What is these names y'all talking about? Y'all got some names on y'all.
Hakeem.
Joaquin.
He said Hakeem. This ain't the African dream, Hakeem.
Hey, I was close. I got y'all where I need to go.
You sure did. I'll come back. It didn't say it. It says LWO versus Bobby Lashley. So on the picture,
that's really interesting.
It has,
it doesn't say it, huh?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say it here. Nope. On the picture,
because that may give us our answer. That could give us our answer.
On the picture,
if it's like Santos, Ray, and then one of them, the answer may be different than if it's Ray and then just the tag team and Santos is not involved.
So on here on WWE, it's saying Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and then they have Zelina Vega. So I don't know. So there we go.
All right, whatever. So then let's go. For me, excitement level is like 6.5, 7, and that all the excitement level is just for me to be able to see now what the Prophets look like working an actual heel match where they are the bona fide heels with Bobby, and then I'm gonna go Bobby and the Prophets. Completely
ditto over here. But I want an ass whooping. I want like a beat down. And Montez, you've come a long way being a bad guy. That final image, he had that mean mug that was still super animated. Just tone that down a little bit.
Oh no, he keeps that. That's how he takes all his pictures too. It's like, dude, you're gonna do the thing with the lip, but then like he's smiling like,
He reminds me of John Cena in his animation. So this, I think, is maybe no, it's not my main event, but it has a potential to be my main event. And it's the women's championship match. Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka. So pretty much, you know how we got here. Asuka start cussing them out. And what did Bayley do? Bayley's like, yeah, you're on. Bayley, yeah, she's going to do this triple threat match with you. And then what did Io say? She's like, she didn't even say that.
I didn't say that. in the most clear English ever. I didn't say that. No, did she say? That's not what she said.
That's not what she said. And then she's like, why did you do that? And again, so you have
Set her
Bailey
up.
being this
Set her up.
crazy mastermind of just whatever for her, whatever that's going to self-sustain Bailey. So I think that this has potential to be a really, really great match. You mentioned Kyrie saying, I don't know how I forgot about that. Any word of when she's coming back?
So in the initial word before was November.
Okay.
But then I think it may be sooner than that. But who knows? I don't know if she shows up Saturday. But I just know it's coming, and I'm sure she's going to SmackDown. Especially if they have just because they have Jade pegged for Raw.
Yeah.
There's got to be, you got to kind of balance the power of the new people coming in.
Well, for me though,
So you're really, really high on this match, huh?
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to give it a 9, and because I think her reign needs a boost, I'm going to say Io Sky is going to retain. What about y'all?
So let's talk. Let's do wrestling like check right here. Like, how does Bailey get to decide who and when does Io defend against? Like, how can she just say, like, is she like the manager? Like, does she have power of attorney?
She's the translator.
Like, how can she, put this woman in the match?
I agree.
Who clearly doesn't want to be in the match? Like, that's one thing I don't want to get. But on a scale, go ahead. What do you think?
I was going to say, because I think Io she's a fighting champion, so she's going to fight. So even if Bailey does do some dumb shit like she did, she's going to be like, all right, my beef is with you, Bailey. I'm still going to do the match, but Bailey, I'm beefing with you. But go ahead.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say a 0.
Ooh.
For this match. I'm going to try really hard to go boo-boo during this match.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
that's
I'm good.
Insane. You were the same guy that came out here a month ago, went on a soliloquy about women's wrestling. I'm not at a 0. I understand why you're at a 0, because I'm not high on this really either. I would much rather have another rematch, singles match with Asuka and Io. I'd be all about that. I'll be at a 10 if that happened. But like I said, they're not forcing Charlotte, because I don't ever want to say that, because I think when it's all said and done, she will be a GOAT of women's wrestling. But like she just comes out of nowhere and then she gets a title shot, and then she leaves, or they do nothing with her on TV, and it's pay-per-view time again, and then she gets in another title match. So I think the match is gonna be good. Every match is gonna be good, but like I'm probably at like a 4 on this, just because I feel like she's being pigeonholed, like she's being stuck in it. I don't like it. And give me Io. I think Io wins. It'd be a travesty if she doesn't.
See, the problem with these women matches, and this is, I don't understand how you don't get where I'm coming up from with the women thing. It's not the women wrestlers, it's the storylines, it's the creative they're given. And
I know, I get that, but I'm saying you still can be excited for it, because this is excitement levels. You can still say like,
I'm not, because like Charlotte, like I wish I cared more about Charlotte. It's just that she's done like she more than anybody will kind of benefit like a change of scenery. I just don't like. I like the woman. I think she looks good. She's phenomenal. But she just doesn't interest me anymore. And
speaking of that too, Andrade to WWE, Aleister Black to WWE. Keep going.
You see, Zelina posted that video where her and Aleister or Malachi.
Hey, but the thing, like, let's stay with there for just let's pause. Stay with there for a second. Like, they got long-term contracts. I don't think they're gonna be there for some time.
I thought, okay.
I don't know why
I thought, okay. I
maybe it is though. I thought it's.
Well, I mean, when you say long-term, if they signed in like 2020 or 2021, I don't know if it's a 3-year deal.
That was 2021. Deal. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a 3-year or 4-year deal, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that Io, like this storyline, with her as champion, I don't think they've done her any favors. I think she's been kind of a lame duck champion the way they booked her. And then Asuka, I don't think they did a whole lot with her. Like, I just don't think this story. I don't think they have anything compelling for these women to do.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate.
So what would they have?
Hey, but Jade's coming to save the business.
No, she's going to Raw.
Save the business.
But she's going to Raw. She's going to Raw. And they'll put all that pressure on her. But so then what would, and this is just hypothetically speaking, because again, there's just too many factors here, but what would they have to do? And I'll say they for like these three here. What had to happen for you to be engaged for this Fastlane match?
For it to be what it is as a triple threat match?
Yeah, well, because he said he was going to go try to use the bathroom at the time. It says 0, and that he does care about women wrestling. It's just that he doesn't care about this. What would that story had to have looked like to E for you to say, well, you know what, I do want to give it a shot?
I would have taken Charlotte out of this one altogether, to be honest with you. And I think they should have seriously built up Io as a fighting champion. I think they could have did something. I do like. I think there's a story with her and Bailey for her to eventually break away, because But I think that they would have needed to, like, Bailey is kind of a silly heel character. When we talk about like the heel characters like Christian and like Swerve, like these evil characters, they should make Bailey more evil, to make her more unlikable, to really do something to make like, hey, you know what, Io, you got to get away from this woman. She's bringing you down. They should have give you more reason to hate Bailey and make you want to cheer Io in the way that you kind of want to see her break away from this heel faction. And with Asuka, I think that with the makeup, like, she's just not sinister enough for me. I don't know what it is, but they should have they should have made her a little more like dominant and more insidious in some type of way, to where you want to see this potential babyface breakout star in Io, like, get her win over this dastardly heel Asuka, at the same time trying to break away from this heel faction that she's part of. Something along that lines. But I don't think we've gotten really that story. It's been a lot of silly stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's your point with Bailey. She definitely could have been more, or can be more, diabolical, versus, like you said, just like a joke. All right, so this is probably one of y'all favorite main events right now coming up. So we have John Cena versus LA Knight, Jimmy, and Solo.
There it is, 301. Tell you, it would have been the best thing ever.
When we talk about a rocky start, this was definitely a rocky start. Whether we thought it was going to be AJ as his teammate, then COVID strikes. Ultimately, we are finally here. We have LA Knight and John Cena versus Jimmy and Solo. I will say that I think that this Jimmy story is starting to come together. Still don't know really what's happening, but I'm getting the vibes that he's trying to be the head of the table based off of some of the moves and decisions that he's making. But it is taking a little bit of time to tell this Jimmy story. I am here for it because I do like all the people that's in the match here. Excitement level for me, I'm going to just shoot and say an 8. And again, because I don't know where the story is going to go, let's just say John Cena and LA Knight. I just picked that.
I'm going to go another 7. And it's weird, I always come here and say, like, I care about stories and characters, and there's a lot of story and character on this show. I'm just not overall not that interested in the pay-per-view. Maybe because I've been pay-per-viewed out for the past couple weekends, sure. And we've had so much going on.
And it could be because like you've seen Payback and you don't want to see it again. Like, I feel you on that, man. Like, it feels like we just saw this pay-per-view.
Groundhog Day, huh?
But I do think, as Rhodesia said, I think the story is getting there. I think Jimmy's starting to come into his own. I think he started becoming the Marty Jannetty to Shawn Michaels as being Jay. But I think Jimmy is starting to come on to his character. I think he's starting to figure it out. He's kind of like that swarmy, like that loudmouth guy. Like he's becoming that guy. And I think it's very interesting to see. And he's actually kind of rubbing off on Solo, because now Solo feel like he got to like back up all this bark that Jimmy's doing for the family. And, it's an interesting dynamic. And, LA Knight is, he's #1 merch seller, right? So
yes, sir. In September, over everybody.
They're putting him in a position to where he can get the rub from John Cena, which is good. So I'm a 7. I'm interested to see where they go with the storyline.
So you're at a 7. Who you got winning?
Who I got winning? LA Knight and Cena.
0% chance they lose this match.
Who is that?
It is Cena and LA Knight, and I'm at a 10. I'm at a 10 because the Bloodline story is about to pick up. They lose on Saturday. Roman Reigns is back on SmackDown next Friday. We are back. We are back in business. Yep.
Okay. So the 7 inning stretch is done, huh? We're about to start off top of the 8. Or is the 7 inning before the 7 inning?
Well, remember, no, he said, no, They said we were in the third inning.
Yeah, but
We
I'm
said it felt more like
saying it's the 7th inning right now.
feels like we were in extra innings. This shit is like the 13th inning. It's supposed to have been gone four innings ago.
You
This
said
thing's
it's
still
1 a.m.
running.
in the morning.
It is. We all know that. If you are a baseball fan and that damn game just keep going on and on, you like, can y'all please? At this point, I don't care if my team loses. Somebody just hit a home run, so I go to bed.
Yes.
This is ridiculous.
All right. So Matt, you said
But
10
and that's my main event because we only have one more match left, right?
That's it. That's why I said I thought this would have been one of
my
y'all main events.
Yeah.
And then we go to what they're building as the main event, and they should actually. And it is the WWE Championship. We have Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. So what I loved about this build up to the storyline, even though we just saw it again, this Payback Part 2, right? We've seen Shinsuke do a lot of his video vignettes and packages where it's in Japanese, and so it sounds more believable. And I absolutely love the video packages. For on Raw, he had like a little distraction diversion that he did where he played a video on the Titantron and he came and jumped Seth pretty bad. So that absolutely built me up to my excitement level for this match, and I think rightfully so. It's in the main event spot. I'm actually going to give this a 9, and I think that Seth is going to retain the championship. Although they keep talking about his back problems, I just don't see a WWE right now where Shinsuke is the champion. And that might not be fair to say to Shinsuke because I love him so much, but I think Seth will retain, and I'm at a 9 excitement level.
I'm at a 4.
Is that FOO?
4? I don't care about this match. I believe that Seth is going to end up winning. I saw someone pose an interesting question online, and they said that they thought that, well, I think more of it maybe was a statement. Who's the better champion, Gunther or Seth? And they had a picture of, Gunther in his suit, looking distinguished. I said, you know what? I think maybe I'm going with Gunther because I care more about Gunther and his reign and who he's challenging than I care about the past couple of matches that Seth has put on.
That's
I think
a really hard question.
Maybe Gunther for me is the better champion. He's not on this show.
Better champion.
So can we pause right there?
I'm gonna go out and say he's the best champion in their company right now.
I'm not gonna argue that at all.
Because whoever it would be one of them two, right? Regardless, wouldn't it? Even
right,
if you said Seth, wouldn't Seth be the best? Right now,
right.
I'd say so. You can't say Roman. You can't say, unfortunately,
the women.
Rhea. Whatever on people who just say stuff. That's a really good question. Who do I think is the better champion right now? I mean, Gunther's didn't fat. I mean, for me, my personal taste is Gunther.
Absolutely.
For me, for what I like and what I'm into, it's absolutely Gunther. I just think they set this. I hate repeating myself, but we have this rematch for no reason. The first match should have ended in shenanigans. Didn't give us a reason to have a last man standing match, and they didn't do it. So I'm at like a 2. I'm at like a 2, and I thought the Raw segment was awesome, a hell of a go home segment for that. But I don't believe it, and you can't take the belt off of Seth yet because that's what CM Punk's going to do. So
wow, okay,
you got to keep the belt on.
Okay. All right. So overall, it sounds like either y'all really don't care about the match or y'all absolutely looking forward to the match. I'm leaning probably more to caring about a lot of these matches. That could just be me being just overly positive and maybe not real with myself. Who knows? But overall, I think we will have a really great wrestling PLE this Saturday.
It'll be another great show. Yeah, like the show's gonna be great. It's gonna destroy Collision and ratings again. They got smoked last week going up against NXT. And when it's only college football, they take a hit, but they got smoked against. It was actually, I think, the lowest watched Collision in history, and they're going up against John Cena Saturday. It's gonna be it's tough, man. That Saturday is a tough sled. And I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Without Rhodesia. So Rhodesia, actually, you can answer that real quick before we head out of here. I think you got something else too. You said so. We talked about it a couple pods ago. Is now that Punk's gone off Collision, is Collision now must watch like live? appointment viewing. And
See,
I
that's
said, time, no. He said no. What do you think?
So my answer is a little bit jaded because I would just my own health issues. I haven't watched Collision. So the origin of that question of is it you have to watch it, I'm going to have to say no because I haven't. I still haven't really seen a Collision in probably 4 weeks.
Yeah, I told Matt Rhodesia, I sent him a text and I said about Collision, no Punk, no brand split, no reason for me to watch it on Saturday night.
He said no way.
But you still watched it, but not having to watch it on Saturday night. I feel that. I can respect that. Yeah.
No, for me, like it's like when I look at Dynamite and Collision, I'm gonna watch who has a stronger lineup. And that's the show I'm going to watch. And I'm still not watching it. And if I'm going to watch Collision, I'm still not watching Saturday night. Give me some Sunday afternoon delight. Okay.
Right. We got football now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough watch. Yeah, right. It's a tough watch. And well, it's a tough appointment viewing. And I didn't know Punk meant that much to me. Evidently, it did. And I think the show switched a little bit too. Now that it's they don't have the soft brand split. Now that, and that's a good thing for their TV because everybody can go wherever. You can get the best possible matchups as you possibly can on both shows. So I'm not against that. But that first month of Collision was so fire. It's no longer, of course, my top show right now. We went over that last week. But yeah, so that was a good question. It was something else that you said. You talked about the end of, in Fastlane. No, it's not that I'm not high on. It's only like 2 matches. I think I'm from a excitement level, but I know they're going to deliver. Right, like the women's match. I think the build has been trash. I do, but that match is gonna be fantastic. So, and at the end of the day, that's all you want when you're watching pay-per-view or PLE. If the matches deliver, then it's like, okay, we got our money's worth.
Hey, but I'm more interested in seeing if Dominic can get the title back from Mommy tonight than watching that pay-per-view, though.
I think that's going to really.
NXT got it.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If I mark my word, because today is Wednesday, right? So if on Tuesday, Dominic loses again, I ain't going to say this. I can see Judgment Day losing too. Their tag team match. Okay. That's it. I'm going to leave it at that.
I thought that when you asked me a question, I'm like, yeah, you know what? What if they lose though?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if they lose?
I don't see Cody and Jay like in a tag team match, but just to the story of the Judgment Day of Rhea being so mad and irritated with them, whatever. I'll just let it be.
Sunday's gonna be fun. Sunday's gonna be fun because you guys listening, if you watch NXT, you probably already know. We don't know, of course. So we'll be able to talk about that, and we'll talk about Payback review.
But this is Wednesday, though. Really on Tuesday night, but Wednesday.
I'm confused.
I know, Matt. Before you send us home,
I don't know what you just said. So cut that out. I don't know what that even meant because I said on Sunday's podcast we'll talk about what happened and we'll talk about Payback review, and then she brought up Wednesday. I have no idea what that even means.
I got a whole conversation to cut out. I was going to cut out the thing from earlier. I didn't know I had to go up, and I got to cut this whole thing out too.
There you go.
Some interesting editing chomps.
Maybe we keep it all in there. Why are we editing? Maybe we keep it all in there. Do not edit me. Y'all gonna hear from my agent. Yeah. Do not edit me.
Hell, no, we editing you. I give you one segment, and you just completely took that segment, and you did a great job. We appreciate you.
I think I did. And then after you got done with that,
you went off script. And you just ain't ready to go off script yet. You're just like a young rookie wrestler.
We're past 59 minutes. Okay, I'm trying to celebrate my birthday. Okay,
you're a WWE wrestler.
Can we get out of here?
I'm trying to get you to be an AEW wrestler. You don't need a script.
I think
I'm giving you your bullet points. I'm gonna just tell you. Just go.
I want this Cabernet that I haven't had in probably like a month and a half. Okay, so I really want to go get my drink.
Oh my God.
Before you send us home, though, man, I just have 2 quick hits. First one, it's like 5 seconds. I'm so happy. And I didn't think I would be, but I'm so happy to see like volume 3 version of Tegan Nox. She's looking like the Tegan Nox I remember back in NXT. So I think that this is going to probably be a good thing. Don't know if she's going to win the belt off of Becky, but the way they've presented her in the last week and a half that I've seen, I really like it. What's your thoughts on that real quick?
Man, that was a lousy match on Raw.
Wasn't the best. I'm going to reserve judgment on Tegan until she wrestles Becky.
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just leave it at that.
But the character itself, do you think that this one can last?
Yes, because but we don't know what the character she is.
Okay.
So,
but just a look though.
But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be what I said I hate is just it was a good showing. And hopefully that turns into maybe a heel turn or something. Give me something.
But they are giving her a shot to Rhodesia's point though, and that's a welcome change.
That's true. Yes,
because they didn't release her, and I just knew she was going to be on the chopping block, and she didn't get released. I'm like, okay, well maybe they do something with her this time, and it looks like that they were trying to do that. So I'm actually really excited to see.
Matt asked me during Raw, like when Cedric wrestled, he's like, why didn't they release Cedric? I didn't have a good answer for him. And my answer was like, because they can't release everybody. But why can't they? Because I don't think they're going to do something with him. I don't.
But you saw what they did. They buried him.
He was
let that man be free. Let that man be free.
And my last one, we have to give flowers when flowers are due. Man, that Ciampa and Gunther match on Raw. My goodness. Thank you. This was the display of Ciampa. Well, first off, how it even just started at first we thought we were going to get this at Fastlane, and we found out that no, we're going to get it on Raw after Fastlane. And then they were like, no, pulled up Master Okido. And then they was like, no, we're gonna do it tonight. Just the passion we heard out of Ciampa, like, to me, if I was not an NXT Ciampa fan, I probably would have been like, oh, this dude is about some business. Like, and he ain't scared of Gunther, and he's going after
Great
him.
promo. That was a great promo.
Wonderful.
I don't know if word was online of how that was working out, that we were getting Ciampa and Gunther on Raw, but I'm glad I didn't know when I saw it, because I was like, man, that was fantastic. How they switched it from next Monday, no, let's just do it tonight. Because they always say that, right? The face always wants to match tonight. The heel's like, no. And Gunther's like, no, let's do it. I thought it was great. I thought the match brought back a ton of that black and gold NXT vibe again, with the hard hitting and presenting Ciampa the way he's supposed to be. They got some work to do when they'll get there, but they got some work to do with Johnny Gargano. Get that man back. Get that man back, Rebel Heart, as a theme song. That music hit, nobody knew who he was, so the reaction wasn't the best. That's a bad look. Give him Rebel Heart. They're going to do this tag team. The matches are going to be incredible. He's going to get over. But I hated to see that for him. He's been off TV for months. His music hits, and like nobody even knows who he is.
I don't know if the audience even knows Rebel Heart, to be honest with you, because not a lot of the WWE universe follow NXT.
That's true too.
So
it would pop me. But I would have known who it was.
You would have known. But at the same time, but I knew who it was too. But I did like the DIY comeback tour that's happening. I was a little disappointed. I thought it was my Sling TV. That we get the pose into the finish, and it just cuts out. Like, what kind of cut figure is that?
Like, damn.
I had to go online to see it.
Nah, the same thing. What did we say? I was like, look at them doing AEW's moves right there.
I definitely was like, damn, they took it personal edge when they was like, all right, we'll just do your finish and not show it. That's like something AEW would do as soon as the match is over. See you next week.
Oh, I hated that.
That would suck.
Hated it.
That's a wrap for me, y'all.
All right, then let's go ahead and wrap this thing. Rhodesia, once again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Of course. I'll see you in like 30 seconds. And we get this Cabernet that you've been talking about. Eshaun, Saturday, man. Payback. I need you locked in. I know you said there's a lot of matches on here you don't care about, but we got a Sunday pod to do. No, it's Payback. I'm going with it now. The hell with it. Okay. It's Payback.
On Saturday.
Lock in, baby. So on Sunday.
On Saturday.
No. Our podcast is on Sunday, Rhodesia.
Oh, I thought you said on Payback.
Sunday.
What is happening? Hey, let's wrap up. What's happening?
Okay. Podcast is on Sunday. Everybody that supports the pod, we love you. Thank you for listening to us twice a week. We appreciate you guys. Shout us out on the socials. That's F&W on Twitter, the X, and Instagram. Of course, YouTube. That's Freakin Wrestling. We are there. Excited to talk about Sunday because we got Dynamite. I think Dynamite's going to be a really good show, too. They're saying it's the first show of the new era, so maybe something else happens in the Bucks. Teased online that they have a surprise tonight on Dynamite. So that should be fun. So we will talk about all that and more on Sunday. See you guys then. Peace.